Hello React Native developers, what is going on? Welcome to Can It Be Done in React Native? And this week we go on a run with Freeletics.
Get ready for 200 meters. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello guys, I hope you are well. William here, recording from Zurich, Switzerland. We are still having an amazing weather. Thank you so much on the great feedback on last week's video. And a special thanks to Mateusz Gabi, who suggested a solution to the animation we developed that is extremely elegant solution, and I would have never thought in a million years about implementing this effect the way you did it. So if you're watching, huge thank you, amazing job. And thank you for watching, but also thank you for sending me suggestions of features we could implement in this channel and things where you're wondering, can this be done in React Native? And this week, I would like to look at a suggestion from Tawan and Nguyen, who sent me an email and asked me about running apps like Trava. Can this be done in React Native? And I don't have Trava installed on my iPhone, but I do use Freeletics. Again, last week we looked at Headspace, and I'm using Headspace on a daily basis. And I'm also using Freeletics almost on a daily basis. So Freeletics is composed of a couple of apps. There is like a main workout apps, but there is also have an app for the gym. They have an app for running. I think they have also a nutrition app, which I don't use. But I certainly use the workout app, the gym app, and I should use the running app more, but I only use it like from time to time, but I should use it more. And so what I just did before recording this video is that I went outside, took my phone, and recording myself running with the Freeletics app. And so pretty simple interface. Here you see the distance that I'm running, my pace, the time that elapsed since I started running, and you can see on the map the trajectory that I'm running on and my position on the map. So pretty straightforward. And can this be done in React Native? When I received the email, I immediately thought, yeah, so we get a lot out of the box from Expo, right? We would get the permission API, we have the location API, so we can ask, let's say for the location every second, and so store each points, compute the distance in meters between two coordinates, and then we could compute the speed by taking the distance and the time between the last two positions. Then we have React Native Maps, which is shipped with Expo, so we can use this to display the map, draw the positions on the map, and we have like this nice circular progress, which also, so Expo ships out of the box React Native SVG, so we could use that also to build a progress bar. So I was thinking, nothing shouldn't be too difficult. And yeah, I think it should be pretty simple because Expo provides us with all the toolings we need, I think, out of the box to do this. Permissions, localization API, maps, SVG. So it should be pretty straightforward, I think. Just, I guess, a lot of small things that need to fit together, right? Even here we have like a custom pin. We have also, you see, some sort of radiation from the pin, progress bar. So nothing too difficult, but yeah, certainly lots of pieces that need to fit together nicely. So what do you think? Can this be done in React Native? It sounds like it really can, so let's have a look. And Guys, before we get started, I would like to tell you very quickly about React Native Elements. React Native Elements is a premium starter kit for React Native. It contains 80% of what you need to get started in a new React Native project. So from static analysis, using ESLint rules and flow, to the basic navigation boilerplate, and lots of UI components that you are likely to need for your app, whether it's action sheets, cards, image editing, social UI components, you name it. This is what I use for every of my new React Native projects. I try to always keep it up to date with the latest libraries and latest best practices and latest React APIs. And hopefully it can be extremely useful for you if you're starting a new React Native project. I hope that you will check it out. You can try it on iOS through TestFlight, or on Android through the Expo client, or downloading the APK. So I hope you check it out. Alright guys, let's get started. I just created a new project here with Create React Native App. And so I think the first thing we're going to do is to ask permission to access the geolocalization API. And then we're going to track the localization of the phone, and we're going to display it on the map using React Native Maps. And then once we have this basic setup, we're going to need to compute the distance that is run. We can compute also the pace. And then we can look at like getting maybe the UI right. So, you know, there is like a circular progress bar, and maybe we need to do like a custom marker. Here they have like this nice little custom marker. So yeah, lots of small things we need to do here. So let's get started. And the first thing we're gonna do is to ask for the permissions. So here I'm on the Expo documentation, and I'm looking at the location API. I need to import these guys here. And when starting the app, I'm gonna request for permissions. So component did mount. So we ask permission. If the status is granted, we will ask for the location. If not, we just display an alert to say couldn't get your location. Okay. And so if it works, we can ask for the position using get current position. And it returns an object called chords with latitude and longitude. So you can just okay, so I'm gonna add a state in my app. So as long as we don't have the location, we add the loading state, and then if the location is granted, we can display the running component. So I think I'm gonna add a state called ready. Actually, yeah. So we can have a boolean called ready, and then also we can store the latitude and longitude. Then that will give to our running component initial state. So we can here if we have it, set state ready is true, longitude, latitude. Okay. So if the app is not ready, or maybe we need to initialize here the state. So with ready is false. And if the app is not ready, we display a loading indicator, and in React Native it's called activity indicator. Size is large. Color white. Style. Okay. And so here just returning an empty view for now, but this would be our running component here. And in fact, so we can put the distance target as parameter. Let's keep it empty for now. So flex 1, align center, yeah, that looks good, and background color. I think we can color pick from the Freeletics app. Okay. So let's see. Yes, I need to import activity indicator. Doesn't seem to be working. Forgot to return. Okay, so we have the loading state, perfect. And now we can create our running component, and we can add the target distance, like let's say 200 meters, and then we can pass the initial position as properties. So I'm going to create a new folder called components, and I'm going to create the running component. Okay, I can import it here. So we have the distance, latitude, longitude. Okay. And I think so. If we look here at the video, we have two parts. We have like the map and like a monitoring component. So I think we're gonna import the map view from Expo. We're going to use Google as provider. and add some style. It's because I need to create the container style. Okay, so that looks good. Now, when we mount the component, we're gonna listen to changes in the position. And I think there is a function exactly just for that called watch position async. And so let's use this guy. So as argument, we can enable high accuracy in order to be able to compute the distance as accurately as we can. And so we're gonna enable, here we have a listener. So I can create it on, I can call it on position change. Okay. Time interval, we can say 1 second. Distance interval in meters, yeah, 1 meter. And this returns the promise resolving to a subscription object, which has one field remove. So we need to store it so we can deregister the listener when unmounting the component. So component will unmount is called listener remove. And we need async keyword here. Perfect. Okay. And so here we receive a position. As parameter, let's have a look, see what it looks like. So we have the coordinates object and a timestamp. Perfect. So maybe let me just create a type for this guy quickly. So we have the timestamp and we have the coordinates, which has latitude, longitude, accuracy, which we probably need or as well. Okay. And I think what we're going to do now is that every time we get to position, we will store it in the state of the component and display it on the map. So I'm going to create a state. With a property called positions. So when we get new position, set state, sorry, so positions equals, so all we concatenate, we create a new array, so the to trigger a render, and then we do just the concatenation between the positions array, and we add the position to this array basically. Positions, position. So this one looks good. And now in the map we want to display two things. So the line, that is the concatenation of all the positions, and also the last position as a pin, as a marker. Cool. So I get positions from the state, and the current position is, and I need to initialize this variable in the state. So position is empty array. So if position length equals at 0, the current position is the one we get from the props. So latitude oh, it's the last element in positions. So position length -1, and we get latitude, longitude from the props. So from map view, we need the marker and the polyline. So let's check the documentation, React Native maps. Polyline. Coordinates. So we go over all positions, and we need to return the position coordinates property. This one looks good. We can add the thick stroke width, maybe, I don't know, 10, I'm not sure. Stroke color, we can use the same then in Freeletics. And there would be this one. And then we need to show a marker. So it's coordinate property. Coordinate. So it's current position. but I think I need to set some initial position. That's why I'm getting this strange screen. And I'm not sure how I did it, but I did it in React Native Elements because there's a lot of maps stuff in this component. And I think if I go for map view, let me see. Initial region is what I need. And it's latitude, longitude, and latitude delta and longitude delta. Okay, so that looks good. So let me try to move this guy in the simulator. Yeah, so you see it's moved, it's tracing the path, and yeah, we have the marker here. So it looks good. And I think now what we can do is to try to compute the distance and speed and display it in the monitor. So there will be this component here on top. And I think I'm gonna create a component here called monitor. I can give it the distance as a start, the distance run as parameter. Let's start very simple. So monitor up, and we're just gonna maybe create a view. And we have distance. Okay, so we need the view, and we're going to display it in big. Okay. And we need to import monitor. Okay. Okay, so we need to create distance. We're going to store in the state. So where is the state? So we have distance, and initial distance is 0. And every time we get a new position, we need to compute the distance between two paths. And I think if we Google for geo library JavaScript, The first result I found is this library, turf.js, which has a function called distance, where we can give it 2 coordinates and can give us distance in kilometers or miles or meters. And yeah, I think this is what we're gonna use. So if I go on npm, I'll use this one. So the distance is, okay, I'm going to create a new variable for the distance. It's the current distance, so state.distance plus the last, so the plus the distance between the last position and this position. Yes, and the last position is, if there is no position yet, so if length equals 0, we are going to return an object with the initial positions, so latitude, longitude, which we get from the props. And if not, it's the last element in the array. Up. So it's this position dot length minus 1. And so I'm going to create a function called distance between from okay, so I can import this library. And I can take the example from the documentation, hopefully. So, no, this. Okay. Okay. So is the first argument here longitude or like it? I'm not sure. Is this the longitude or the longitude or latitude? Oops. me check. So first one is longitude and latitude is the second one. Okay. Right? Longitude, latitude, yeah. Okay. So origin. Latitude. Same here. And it's in coordinates. Chords. Okay, so let's move the location to see if it works. But I think that looks good. Let's move it again. Am I? So 133 meters. 400 meters. Yeah, hopefully this is correct, and maybe we need to round this value. Using Lodash, okay. All right, 500 meters. Hopefully that's correct. And maybe we can we can start to build the UI for the monitoring. And so I'm gonna add a container. And I don't know, 300 pixel background color, same and this one here. And it's a safe area view. Oh, sorry. And here we have like the pace and the time. So we can maybe build this one quickly. So we have a row. And then we have two elements. They have like an icon and a value. So we have like the pace as an as a number, and we need an icon. So expo icons. And maybe a watch. I love, this is my favorite icon font. So feather as icon from expo vector icons. And so name. Let's paste. And the duration. And the duration, what we can do is to store it in the state. So when we start the component, so type duration as number, so we can create this interval equals set interval. We can initialize the state, duration equals 0. So up, and every second we increment by 1 second. Okay. We clean up when we unmount. Oops. Okay. All right. And I think what we need to do also is to convert a duration into like something that is formatted properly, as you see it here. Moment. So convert duration using moment. And I need to add moment. So we can use this guy here. So const format, okay, format duration, Okay. We need to do some styling here. Not sure which size. Let's put 28. And we need to add some styling here as well. And we need to add flex direction row here as well. And a label, color, white, and size. And we need to pass also the pace as parameter. So we will also store it in the state. And when we get a new position, so we have the distance between I'm going to store it in the variable. And we need to also compute the pace. So we have the distance, which is delta, and last position and position. Perfect. And we can pass it as parameter here, pace. Okay. So let's create this function. Okay, so we need the time, which is last position, no, sorry, it's previous position here. So it's previous position timestamp minus, sorry, position timestamp minus previous position timestamp divided by 1000 to get it in seconds, and the pace is, so let me try to do a rule of 3. So if we have, so we have time, so we have delta time, and for 1000 meter x, so pace is time times 2, yes, times 1000 divided by delta. Okay, perfect. And so here we can simplify because we divide by 1000 and multiply by 1000. So we can just remove this guy. So that should give us the pace. Let's try. But function apply. Not sure what's going on. Is it? Yeah, it's because of this guy here. Okay. So pace, invalidate. Okay. Let's do a move to see. That looks actually, that might be correct. And we need to the map to follow the pin. So on new position center, we need to, well, on position change, we need to recenter the map. So we need to get a ref of the map. And we're going to use React create ref to do this. So map equals React create ref. And if I go back to the React Native map documentation, we can use animate to coordinate. So this map current, because we use create ref, animate to coordinate, position chords, and let's say duration 1 second. Or yeah, it doesn't matter, I think. Okay. Now let's move. Yeah, it also looks like the pace might be correct. Yes, so that's good. I think we could use some styling here. Maybe I'm going to create one called space evenly and label margin left 16. I think here we don't need this guy. Oh, we need also the status bar here to be light. React fragment. Light content for the bar style, and then if it's ready, we return the run component, and if not, the loading screen. Okay. So if the position is the first position, No. I think I'm having an issue here. Oh, because we don't have a timestamp here. This is why. Can I do maybe... Oh. I'm not sure. This one? Hopefully this one, maybe. We just... Trying to see. Okay. So probably this one is in second, it looks like. So this. No. And it's timestamp. Strange. And if I move here, why is the first one not working? Oh, because of the distance, I guess. Oh. So this one is correct. This one looks good. Last position. Oh, okay. It's because this one is more recent, of course. It's a bit of a hack, but maybe let's just do this for now. I shouldn't do this. Sorry. Still not working. Timestamp. Or what if I do? I'm not sure what I'm missing. Invalidate. Let's log these values. So we divide by 0. Okay, that makes sense actually. Because the first one that we get from on position change is the same as the initial one. So maybe we can just check if delta is greater than 0. If not, the pace is 0. Okay. No. Why I cannot? Oh, it's because of this one here. Okay. And now I think we're getting close. Maybe we can do this custom marker here. So we can call it pin. And so there is like, if we look at the video, there's, I would say, the 3 layers. So there is the white, so there is the outer part with the opacity, the white part, and the inner part. So yes, I would say we have outer pin, and inner pin. Okay. Oops. So let's try some values. Let's say 80 pixels maybe. This one 20. So background color, we have it here. This one is white, and for this one we just need to have So let me just copy this value and add some opacity. And we need to center everything. Looks good. Now if we look at the video, you see the one in the middle also animates. So we can try to do that as well. So I'm going to import the animated module. We add it to the state. Animated.value. We initialize it. Okay. And when the component mounts, we need to loop. So we go from 0 to 1, 1 to 0 indefinitely. So React Native animation loop. Yes, so this is what we want. We want to loop. So we have a sequence to go to the sequence of two animation, one that goes to 1, one that goes to 0, and we loop over it. So this is exactly what we need. And okay. So we go no delay. Maybe I will make it a bit more longer, and we need to use native driver. Use native driver true, but looks good, I think. So let's try. So animated and we're going to use transform scale. Okay, which we interpolate scale, we interpolate from the animation value. So animation interpolate input range, so it goes from 0 to 1. Output range, so let's say maybe we scale from half the size to 1.5 times the size. I don't know, I have no idea. Let's take a look. Up. Animated. True value. Okay, I'm using animated.view, so that's good. What am I missing something here? It's not because of these values, right? You get value. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong here. Sequence. Looks good. Okay, silly me. Sorry about that. Okay, maybe it's a bit too strong. Yeah, looks good now. And maybe we can do the circular progress bar now in SVG. So if I go in, so I can import SVG from Expo. And I'm gonna need maybe I'm gonna use 100 pixels as a radius for the circular progress bar, right? Which is this guy here. So yeah, one. Let's see if we can still change it. And then we're gonna draw the arc. And this we've done last week, so I can just go to the snack from last week to copy paste. So if I go in components, progress. So we're gonna use SVG path, which is shipped with art, so which is shipped with React Native by default, to build a path. Okay. So we move to 0, x is 0, y is radius. We draw a line to, oops, no, and we draw an arc to, let's say, x is a radius times 2 plus radius with a radius of radius. Okay, and so we can try to draw it as a path. So we can create an SVG. So progress is, so with, okay, radius times 2, height is radius times 2. And we can add the path. Stroke wide, stroke width, let's say, I don't know, 20. Let's have a look. Oh, I might need to restart my packager, I'm not sure. Is that the issue? Okay, so we have a couple of issues. Okay, so fill is transparent. We need to center this guy, so we can use align items center. And then, so the stroke, so we need to create some sort of padding, you see, because stroke seems to be centered along the path. So I would say it's padding times 2. So we're going to create a padding variable. So padding equals 10. And so here we need to add padding times 2. Padding times 2, and we need to add it here. So we start at x equals padding, radius is radius minus, no, radius plus padding, arc2 radius times 2, that's correct, and should be also radius plus padding. That looks good. We just need to move this one on top. So we can create a view container to wrap these two and put the text on top. Style progress label. So we put it on top using absolute positioning, and we need to center the text. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Just okay. So you see here the custom pin, because the pin is always on top. So you see now it's not centered anymore to the end of the segment of the polyline, and I think there is an attribute we can use. If we go back to the documentation, I think it's called anchor in So not in map view, but in marker. And I think X is to say we want to center it 0.5 and Y 0.5. And that should center it, I think. Let's try. No. How is that? It's not an array. Point. So should. Okay, I have it here at the wrong place. Sorry about that. Okay. But yeah, perfect. Now we need to do the progress bar, and I think that's kind of like the last step. So here we have the path white, and we can have one which is gonna be yellowish on top of, and we actually did this last week as well. So if I go back to the snacks, exactly. So we're gonna need to compute the length of, so perfect. So the length of the path we can compute using SVG path properties. So I'm gonna add this module. And again, I think I'm gonna copy and paste from the snack. So we're going to use this to compute the length of the arc. Hop. As a property, we can add, so we have the distance, and we can pass the total distance as parameter. So let me, here I can do total distance, which we get from the props as distance. Okay. Now, maybe also let me just to debug at 1 kilometer. So we have the total distance. So the ratio is total distance divided by distance. And we can add some of stroke dash offset, which is going to be the length of the arc minus the ratio times the length. Let's try. Nope, it's not working. Ratio. No, it's distance divided by total distance. Sorry about that. Is this crashed? Just not sure, sorry. Okay, now let's move a bit. Yeah, so it does look like 1/10 of a kilometer. Let's try more. Yeah, it does look like almost half of a kilometer. Perfect. So I think it looks pretty good. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my real device and take it for a run. Alright guys, so what I did is that I published the code on Expo and took it for a run, like just outside my building. And so what you see here on the left hand side is the actual Freeletics app, and on the right hand side, sorry, on the left hand side is the app we just coded. So I just went running, and the pace looks actually pretty correct. So I'm just trying to run 200 meters in both cases. And you see the path also seems to be somewhat accurate. I mean, here the stroke width is much larger on the Freeletics side, so I guess also it wouldn't make sense to make it a bit thicker here as well. But okay, I'm running at different paces, but the pace seems to be correct, and you see also the time. So it seems like we're pretty close to what the Freeletics running app is doing. Of course, there's a couple of things which we did here which we could improve on. So for instance, the way we do the timing here, we just have a set interval, so that's actually pretty bad. We should really look. So it's good to show like every seconds to show the time, but we should also use the true time from the timestamps we get. And also maybe we need to do sometimes some filtering on accuracy. So if we get a coordinate that is really not accurate, so maybe the accuracy has a radius of like, let's say 50 meters, we should discard it probably. There's a lot of fine tuning I think we could do. Also the arc, this one is much, it's not half of a circle. I don't know why I thought it was half of a circle. It's much bigger. But, pretty close. I think that gives a good idea of how this could be implemented. I feel like this has been very laborious. I feel like this video was very laborious. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And let me know what you think. I'm going to put the snack in the description so you can access the source code. Please let me know what you think. Please send me suggestions on, things where you are wondering, can this be done in React Native? And again, thank you so much for your support, and I'm looking forward to talk to you soon. So have a great day, guys, and talk to you soon. Bye.